On this tutorial in Tech and Web Guy, we're going to look at what's called DHCP Server Callout. It's a DLL file that, when integrated with Windows 2003 Server DHCP service, allows you to specify specific MAC addresses that it denies giving it an IP address. We're going to start by looking at one of my servers. And on that, I've gone to the Microsoft website. I've provided a link on my website to this site for downloading this MAC address filter. Once downloaded, it's going to open up into two installers. Pick the appropriate installer for you, 64-bit or the 32-bit 86 version. Once installed, what it's going to do is it's going to install 3 files into the C drive, Windows, System32, DHCP folder. Those 3 important files I have listed here: Mac filter callout info log, Mac filter callout error log, and maclist.txt. On my desktop, I've created a shortcut to my Mac list. So what exactly does this filter do? To do that, let's actually look at our DHCP server. As a DHCP server issues IP address, it does based on this unique ID, the MAC address. And what we're going to do is find MAC addresses. For example, this one right here we may not want. So we're going to add him to a list of denied MAC addresses. How do you do that? Through this MAC list. I'm going to edit it in Notepad++. It's going to show us that the MAC action is deny. If you were to change this to allow, you could provide a list of approved MAC addresses. But since that's too complicated, especially for large organizations, unless you have all that information readily available, it's hard to collect MAC addresses. It's easier to deny them based on their name. So we're going to deny this list of MAC addresses. Now when you see the pound sign, that means that it's commented it out. So as we work through the list, we'll see MAC addresses, and then I have a pound name. I like to, when I remove them, add the name that I see here, just so I can make sure that I remember why I removed them. So this one belongs to an iPhone. I can see several in here. I can see several different types of MAC addresses the way they start. The next question is, how do you know which MAC address is what? So I'm going to show you right here. I have this MAC address 002500. Now only the 6 first digits are really important, and I'm going to open up a website here that I use specifically for searching MAC addresses. And it's only going to need the first 6 digits, because the first 6 digits is what belongs to the manufacturer. So I'll look up the MAC address, and I found that this MAC address belongs to Apple. So this belongs to an Apple computer. And if I do another one, 1CB37, and if I typed in the rest of it, it doesn't hurt it. It'll just get rid of it. So this one is also an Apple. You're going to notice that even though it's the same manufacturer, Apple, it has different MAC address IDs. And you're going to find this a lot of the times when looking through here, that you're not going to know what a specific computer is, and you'll be able to identify it. So this is how I look it up. I also use a Mac find here that I use when the other one gives me problems. So I use these 2 websites, which I will post on my website, techandwebguy.com. Now that we have it installed and we know what we're looking for, is basically as simple as editing this document right here, maclist.txt, with a list. So the other 2 documents that it creates, one is an error log, which will tell us the MAC address here on line 29 is not formatted correctly. So we could go down to line, this is why I like Notepad++, we could go down to line what it considers 29 and see that this MAC address is probably too long or it's not formatted correctly. So we can go in and make corrections on any errors that it finds here. Now the Mac filter callout info log lets you know when it's allowed and when it's denied somebody. So as I go through here, you'll see a lot of allows. I've been doing this for quite a while, and I've pretty much weeded out the majority of the denies because the students, I work at a school, and the students have learned that they just can't get on anymore. So after a while, you should just see all allows once you just start picking them out. what's the symptom on the client side when they try to get an address? It's going to act like it's not connecting to the network. It just won't get an address. If you were to packet sniff it, you'd see the request, and you would not see anything come in return because this service just stops it right there. If you have Windows Server 2008 R2 edition, you would simply right mouse click on the computer and add it to the deny list, and then on the computer enable the deny list. So that's how you use the Mac Callout. Great program, especially for the administrator who's looking at ways of blocking out specific users by their MAC address.